to know from the Honourable Minister that in the answer that has been given, the exports of buffalo meat is around about 26,684.22 crores. And there has been a negative growth of 8.87%. Will the Honourable Minister please give a reply to this question of mine, that China is not allowing Indian buffalo meat to be exported? What steps is taking? And because you see, madam, 26,000 crores, out of 60 odd export units, nearly 38 are in Uttar Pradesh and many are being closed. Is the minister really concerned about it? That because already 8% negative is there, and is the government really, does it wants to promote the export of buffalo meat, or does it wants to put a ban on it? Because the atmosphere right now in Uttar Pradesh is that many export buffalo meat units are being closed. Is she really concerned about it? And what is she going to do about the exporting of buffalo meat to China?
Sir, madam, let me first of all, let me tell the honorable member that what is being done in Uttar Pradesh is about the illegal slaughterhouses. And in that, I'm sure even the honorable member wouldn't want illegal any matter of export, be it meat, be it anything else. We don't want anything happening illegally. And the Chief Minister himself has stated it very clearly. He's talking about illegal houses being shut. Yes. On that, there cannot be a difference of opinion. As regards China not taking Indian buffalo meat, I want to assure you, the member, with China, not just buffalo meat, there are many other issues on which market access is not available. And we have been talking with them on every such item so that legitimate exports from India will have to find market access.
The suggestion is that the management should have a psychiatrist, madam, or an addiction psychiatry specialist on board, and they should be responsible for the therapies patient undergoes at these centers. Second point, madam, is that this term for admission, detention, treatment, discharge should be as in any psychiatry unit. However, many times, madam, the patient, though capable of making an independent decision, he has an intense desire to consume this substance, substance abuse. So, decision should be in consultation with nominated authority of patient or family. The third point, madam, there is no mention about how should we go about in this care of persons with mental illness in the community. This bill is completely silent on care of persons with mental illness in the community. My suggestion is that a provision of psychiatrist or a clinical psychologist at all primary healthcare centers, they should visit PHCs at least once a week on a rotational basis, and this 1-year mandatory service for fresh PG of psychiatry should be implemented rigorously, and this particular provision of this PGs of psychiatry should be made in this bill. The fourth point, madam, is that this process of license. The National Mental Health Policy, it advocates integration of mental health into general and primary care. Now, this particular bill mandates that all establishments to take license from treating patients. So, by asking for license under Section 65, many private hospitals, nursing homes, general hospitals will refuse to treat patients with mental illness. So, can the government consider, have a relook at this whole insistence on having a license? Madam, my sixth point is advanced directives. The problem with this step, madam, is that this is too hasty and ill-conceived in our country. Let me remind the Honourable Minister that this advanced directives will be counterproductive, and this will lead to many issues, because the Cochrane database of systematic review on advanced treatment directives for people with mental illness has reported that there are few data available to make definitive recommendations to introduce it. Even in the Western world, this has certainly not had its intended effect, madam. Now, coming to the nominative representative, this insistence on nominated representative, madam, it breaks the very backbone and fabric of a society, that is the family. So, the bill needs to make provision that at least one member needs to be present with the patient during the inpatient treatment, because family members around this patient would, it will lead to a lot of psychoeducation and then supervised medication, and the rehabilitation process will be much faster. Another issue, madam, about mental health review board. Why should the judiciary be involved in this? a mental health review board, why should judiciary itself is incapable of clearing their backlogs? So, again you're insisting judiciary involvement is this. I don't think so. This is required that judiciary should be part of this mental health review board. Madam, my suggestion is that this board should comprise of independent psychiatrists, family caregivers and recovered patients, because this will go a long way in getting to know the real facts. And another alternative, madam, I propose that to create a board of visitors at each hospital. Lastly, madam, right to confidentiality under Chapter 5 of this bill. This is a fundamental right, madam. My suggestion to the Honourable Minister through you is that this information should be only given to family members, and that too in verbal form. Written documents or medical records should be shared only with legal authorities on obtaining a written request. Now, permission for research, madam. This has to, this need to state authority should give permission. Please delete it and incorporate as per ICMR guidelines, because too many regulations can undermine the whole research. Now, last point, madam, which my honourable colleague over here mentioned about the definition of mental health. My opinion is that the definition of mental health is very broad-basedly covered under the National Mental Health Policy, and the WHO definition is quite clear. Can this government incorporate the definition of mental health as has given by the National Mental Health Policy and WHO? Because, as rightly pointed out by other colleagues, is that it leaves out obsessive compulsive disorders, depressions and adjustment disorder. So I hope that these few points which I have mentioned over here, the Honourable Minister